Hi there, guys, and welcome back into the art review. Today we're going to be talking about Rogê Antônio, because that's how my grandma said that you said it, because I thought it was Roj, and she said if it doesn't have, a little tilt, it is like that, but if it does have, and it's Rogê, which is kind of more French than it is Brazilian. Now, I do speak Portuguese, and I could just say this in his own language and mine, but thing is, this series is in English, so we're going to go just for the English. Although I do appreciate, because I am Portuguese. And let's get this party started. So, he has been doing some work for DC. Indeed, some fine work, which I have at least one comic of, because somebody in the comic book store, while I was trying to get money to get all the Batgirls and Birds of Prey comics, they bought number 5, and they didn't keep on going with the series, but they bought number 5. And because I didn't have money, like I didn't, first of all, so here's how it works. So I used to save my Batgirls and Birds comics, like I used to ask them every time I would buy one to save the next one. But when I got to the 4th, I knew that I wouldn't have money, to buy Batgirl until, maybe 2 months after. And then somebody bought number 5. And I stopped my collection because, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to miss the number 5. Didn't feel right to me, and I stopped collecting. I won't admit that I read online. Shh, it's a secret. But it's what I could do because I still want to do the collection. I absolutely love him. I was very sad about not actually being able to finish it. It was something that I was like, oh, I can't believe this. Because, well, I didn't have money, so it doesn't really matter. I got up to number 4, which is where he assumes full control of the art, and then the series gets better because I actually prefer his over hers, but that's other issue. It's to do with me, and today we're only going to talk about him. So as you can see right now, I have a drawing that he did. It's a commission for Batman. Yay! Everybody loves Batman except for me. No, I'm kidding. I do enjoy Batman. I enjoy some people of the Bat family more than others. Probably Batwoman more than Batman, and Batgirl more than Batman, but Batwoman more than Batgirl. But it doesn't matter because I enjoy reading good comics with good art and good story. And this art is really cool. It's just a commission, but I can totally see it being in a Batman book, which it has been, and I will talk about that later. So it's just black and white, and pretty much that's what he does. He is the inker, and he is the person who draws. He's not the person who colors. I mean, I think he can. Obviously, an artist, if we have to do something, we will do it. But usually, from what I've seen, because obviously I researched before doing something like this, he is only the person who inks and creates, and somebody else, does the colors. Cool things about this. First of all, very DC style. His style is very much DC inspired, perfected lines, strong figures. He is not the, if you're thinking, if you read Batgirl Birds of Prey, he's not the one that does the women figures has manly, but he's the one that does them very, well, how do I explain this to you? Very anatomically correct. He's not the one that exaggerates features or that makes them look terrible. I actually don't remember which artist that was, but I know there's an artist which around the community is not that well viewed due to that. But I'm pretty sure it is not him. So as you can see, just by looking at it directly, it is really well inked. It is something that I appreciate as an artist. And also, I usually fix my darks because, as you know, when you put a drawing in a scanner, the scanner light will, you know, make your darks a bit of like lighter. That's why sometimes, and as you will notice in this drawing, there's little dots of white, really small, and they are noticeable but not that noticeable. And that's what the scanner does. And I appreciate that he left them there because actually I do enjoy the dots on his drawings. I mean, I don't enjoy them on mine, but because his detail and the drawing around Batman works so well with the dots, it's just they're there. And I mean, I like how they're not hidden. It's surprising. It's surprising because I usually do like perfect dark. I mean, I would like perfect dark. No problem with that if it was fully dark, but it just doesn't look wrong in the way that we have it over here. Moving on. Oh my god, when I discovered this in DeviantArt. Oh my god. I want one of those. If you see this, Rogê, bring one of those to Portugal. And if I get money from doing my own thing, I will buy. I want one of those. I want one of your Hellboys. Please. I don't need originals. I don't mean originals because I don't think that I'll be able to afford, but I want one of your prints and I will get them. Don't worry. So, as you can see, this is amazing. First of all, it is DC style put into Hellblazer. You can notice that, like, right when you look at it. Because there are more lines. Hellblazer is less detailed. This is more detailed. The skulls, as you can see, in Hellblazer, they will probably be deformed, and over here they're very anatomically correct. The tones of dark are so pretty. Also, I noticed that your ink is probably, let me just make sure I say it right. It's probably pen, but it might be how I do it. Here's why. Because this ink that he does here, it doesn't leave little points. And usually that happens to me when I do pen. But what it does do is it leaves traces. So it's either Chinese ink with a brush, or you put one of those pens that you use for inking instead of just, with a normal pen. Clearly you didn't do it with one of those. But still, even though it's not fully dark like I do, it doesn't need to be. First of all, it kind of feels like it gives a little bit depth to what's around and to him. So it looks really good. I mean, first of all, this is why I'm saying that I like to make my drawings dark, because my drawings are black and white and they are characters' faces. Two issues with that. First of all, details are smaller. Over here, details are important, and details are, well, exaggerated in his case for me. But in my art, details are not there, so that's why I like it, darker, because it fits with the black and white theme. Now he doesn't need to do that. First of all, because it fits really well. Has He has a character with a background, and it just makes it all work. It doesn't need to be a full black. It could be, like always when I say that, it has a little bit of a touch to it, a little gray. It could be either like that or just go full black. But it doesn't matter because it works out, and it's probably just a preview that he showed. So still, I love this. I love this. Absolutely. Oh, also this, I found this, and it has his name, so I'm guessing that it's his drawing. It looked cool, So I decided, hey, why not show this out? Looks pretty dope. So here, there you go. There's a little sketch of Wolverine. But once again, I'll mention this as in, you guys, when you look at this, and I think it was destined to be, because this is not Marvel style. And here's why I don't say it's Marvel style. Marvel has a tendency, something that DC doesn't usually, but artists, it depends. But back in the day, not so long ago, when they chose their artists to be nearly the same, not differ from each other, lines had to be perfect. Faces had to be, for example, Wolverine, it was kind of like a V shape, but then you would cut it to make it square. It had to be perfect. Abs have to be perfect. Uh, that's the Marvel style. And DC, although they always like to make things very perfect, they were more human. There's a lot of artists on DC who were more human-like than perfection-wise. Even though if you look at Wonder Woman, many people will tell me, "Oh my God, but she has always been so perfect," and I look at it in a different way. You can always say that I'm looking at it the way that I want, and I can always say you're looking at it the way that you want. And sometimes people say that it's the exact contrary. Well, there we go. We're fighting over this again in another video. But in case you think it is DC style or it is Marvel style, I actually do enjoy the way that he did Wolverine. Moving on to colored stuff, because I wanted to show this before I move on to showing you my comics that I do own. So this is from Batman Annual number 3, and if I'm not wrong, he does the ink for this, and somebody else did the color. Like I said, he doesn't color it. Also, I advise getting this one. Actually, I advise getting every Batman Annual because they're really good. But most especially this one, I don't own it. Like I said, I only own a selected few, and maybe one day I will own more of his stuff, hopefully. But I mean, this art is really good. Cause here's one thing that I haven't done on the past artists. I here have to focus on the lines, not on the shading, for example, which is something that I usually do focus. The lines on this drawing are actually good. For example, their hands. They don't need to be 100% perfect for you to see what is happening, but for example, the lines on his jacket, the one that extends from his hand and the one that comes around his arm, those lines are really good. Here's why they're good. First of all, anatomically correct. Second of all, I mean, they are anatomically correct, but that is not exactly what I want to say. So I meant, first of all, they are exactly what they should be and where they should be. And second of all, they are going where they need to be. Because you can try this. Get a jacket like that, that is like, what is it? Leather? Forgot how you say it. And you pull a little part to the front and you push your arm up a little bit, and you will see that it will actually do exactly what this Joker's uh, jacket is doing, which is, I'm actually doing this, that is why I thought it was funny, which is the lines are going to go up because you're pulling, you're making stress. Lines will go up. There will be a line that I actually didn't talk about. It's below his arm, below the shadow. There will be a line going down because you're making, you're pulling it on just one point, and obviously, it's going to get, so all of it is going to get pulled. And then your arm, depending on how big your jacket is going to clearly, go up, and it's going to get, the little wrinkles because you're making, some strength in it. Now, that is really cool. And clearly his faces, you don't need a lot of detail with the lines. Maybe, the way that he did put his smile way up, crooked, and his eyes closed. I do like that. I would have liked the eyes open, but the eyes closed is cool. I don't have much to say about the person getting hit, except for, his pose. I like very much, his hands, the gestures, and the way that he is posing. But really, the piece here that is very important is clearly Joker. Now, just fast because cause there's not much to talk about in here because I'll get distracted with colors. This piece that I found out is really cool. Um, first one, not a lot of detail. Second one, quite a bit of detail. Third one, a lot of detail, a lot of lines. Look, here's something that I said, that he has a strong DC feeling to it, and here's why. I know that a lot of people see Superman as perfect, but he isn't 100% perfect, and he portrays that really well. You see how his jawline is short and his face seems kind of like square? That to me feels a lot like DC, because DC, well, I'm trying to remember a very famous comic. Is it Justice? Because, for example, in Justice, if I'm not wrong, okay, yeah, Injustice is where you can see, uh, that they are very human, mainly because of the art, but the story always helps a little bit. While for me, Avengers were always they were always more fictional. Now, this piece is amazing, and that is what I wanted to focus on. It's how human Superman becomes. You don't need to talk about colors. In this, you could take out the colors and it would still look awesome. It's a piece that I really do enjoy. Third, finally. Okay, so don't worry, this, and this. Yep, those are the only comics that I own that have his name, and two of them aren't actually considered his art. So here's why. These two, they do have his name in it. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, and this one also does. But this one and this one, number 2 and number 3, they are still Claire's art. Claire Rue. So, for example, DC, when you go to their site, they still say that this is only Claire's art. Well, the comic kind of contradicts it, right? It has his name in it. But there are some sites that say that the art was kind of shared. And he took over in number 4, which is the next issue that I have, and the difference is visible. Not over here because this is drawn by Paquette, and on the inside they're different. I can't take it off. Okay. We'll ignore that attempt. So on the inside they're different. On the outside I think they're the same because it's always the same person doing the art. If I'm not wrong. It's always him. You see, Paquette, what did I say? Paquette. Yeah. Okay. What is it? Paquette. I don't know. I always confuse their names. There's a lot of artists out there, and I'm sorry for saying his name wrong. His name. I don't know. I do like their art though. I will research on them too. But what drew me to this comics definitely wasn't the cover art. It was the inside of them and the story and the art. But mainly the story. Second, because I really love Birds of Prey. So, yeah. So I have these bad boys. This one is a pride of this collection. I'm not kidding. It actually is. I do have number 1 over there, but it clearly doesn't matter. This one is the part of my collection, but it could have been more if somebody didn't buy the 5th. That is sad, okay? Well, nothing I can do about it. Now I'm stuck with these, which are not bad at all. Some people don't actually own his art. So in case you are interested, clearly go get his stuff. I don't remember if I said links down in the description, but like always, they will be there. So yeah. Also, I'm going to try to make the video shorter. I know this video wasn't really that short. It's about 53 minutes in, so we've had longer videos, but this doesn't fall much to the shorter side. Either way, thank you for watching. Hope you had fun. See ya!